To show a few examples of student work that they've created throughout the year with our Scratch Maze projects. Now, these are 8th grade projects where they are to design a maze game. This is one example a student did, and this one's really creative. I never had one that was quite like this before. Usually they kind of do a regular type maze game. This student kind of had a storyline with it. Where I have to control the duck character. Now I'm moving the duck character right now with the arrow keys, and as you can see on the left hand side over here, these are all the scripts and the programming that they put in. Now this student in particular did a great job commenting on all the code as well to explain what each thing does. So as I go through the game here, you can see I pick up a water pail, something happens over here, and this involves some pretty extensive, pretty high-level thinking for an 8th grade student. Now I have to pick up the water pail, notice the changes in the pail costume, and I just lost the game because I went through it kind of slowly. But what happens is they actually have a full range of costumes here, and all these scripts she completely designed on her own after I showed her what a basic project would look like. Also, for the thing like this flower wilting on its own up here, this is a lot of higher level thinking for one of these projects. And also the water can changing and the water, and then her explaining what's going on with the project. Now I'm going to cheat through this because I want to show you what it looks like when you win, and I can actually cheat on this project to get it going here. But if I went to full screen, I wouldn't be able to do that. Now as I go through, character picks up the pail, goes over and needs to water the flower in order for the project to be finished. Now this student, like I said, I really enjoyed her creativity, and as you can see it works, and there's an ending to the game, and everything is explained on this side. So that was a great example of a project. A few other student projects I have, and let me just pop a few of these up. This student did one that had levels to it. So when I click the green flag here, this student, you are controlling once again with the arrow keys, and that's how I showed the students how to set it up. But in this one, you have to control with the arrow keys to pick up all of the bananas. There's also a trap door. So I'm just going to cheat so this video doesn't take forever. But once I get the key, you'll notice this area up here will open up, and it will allow the student or whoever's playing the game to get to the finish line, which is this green color here. So when I get there, notice that opened up. So my trap door opened. I have an enemy character, which is this orange ball that if I touch will send me back to the beginning, and it will start all over again. Now if I touch the green, you'll notice that it goes on to a second level. Now my score goes up every time I collect a banana. So every time I touch one of these, it'll disappear and the score goes up. Notice I'm also being timed on this game. So when you finish, and if it was done correctly, when I get through the whole project, notice if I also touch any of the orange, it'll send me back to the beginning. It'll say you win, and the project stops. So the timer stops, so it gives you your score at the end and the timer. So that was another good example. That student did some levels with their project. And then I have one more project, which is another good example of what these students have created in Scratch. This one also includes levels. It also includes the trapdoor method. Okay, so this student, you have to control this character, and this is a character that's becoming very popular in the classes. The Nyan cat. And as I get the key here, you'll notice this little section will open up, and that will allow me to get through the level. And then also they have a score for their enemy. So every time the enemy attacks my character, they both go back to the beginning, but the enemy score goes up 1. And then once I finish a level, so I'm cheating here, but once again, if I was playing this regular, I would not be able to cheat through this. It brings me to the next level. And as I would go through, this one's actually pretty difficult here. Once I get through, enemy got me before I got through. Then I would get to the last level, and this one there's a red ball enemy character. There's another enemy character over here. And the whole goal, once again, is to get to the finish line. And when I finish, it says you win, and then everything stops. So the timer stops and the enemy stops. So a few great projects that students have created. And these students, even in the three of these students, one of them has an IEP. And the IEP doesn't necessarily hold them back at all in Scratch. And I have, a lot of students, regardless of language barriers or learning barriers or anything, that in these maze projects, and once they get into it, they really just take it upon themselves and they go, they take it wherever they want, and they're very creative with it, especially those students who really enjoy video games. So that was just a few examples of projects in Scratch that students have done in the 8th grade with the maze projects, which is basically what I did my lesson studies on, and what Mr. Johnson and I have been working on making a little more rigorous. So thank you for watching.